A very good morning here from sunny Amsterdam. As you can see in the background, the view is looking stunning if I look at the screen. And a very good morning to you all. My name is Fabio and thank you so much for tuning into this daily market update where I discuss the major dollar pairs and gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with EURUSD and then just dive into the other pairs. So euro dollar itself has been consolidating pretty much all week. Today it is NFP, so non-farm payroll. Do keep in mind this is very heavy news which will cause a massive reaction on the EURUSD chart. Now there are a lot of possibilities with what could happen to EURUSD. First of all, being that we still have this fractal structure on the 4-hour, or at least internal fractal structure, with this being now our low and this now being our high. We're building up a lot of liquidity above these descending highs. So I would, for example, not be surprised if we see like this massive spike up into either one of the supply zones. So for example, this supply zone over here, or even this supply zone over here. And then from there, for example, again, further downside. So waiting to see what will happen. That is definitely one of the possibilities. Obviously, the actual fractal structure is the exact same that I discussed in yesterday's video, with this being your low and this over here being our high. So we're currently inside of that range, therefore it is very risky to trade EURUSD, but I will be waiting and looking for further downside from EU in general, because who knows, maybe we do not even need to grab liquidity, we just sell off straight in towards the downside this afternoon, with the NFP news coming out. So that's what I'm waiting for on EURUSD. Further downside still, that's all I can really say. Obviously, if we do retrace into one of either supply zones, thanks to the news, I will be looking for a short. So that's euro dollar. Moving on into the dollar index. The dollar index itself has not really been moving as well due to it waiting for the news to occur. Obviously, not much has changed. If we look at the daily time frame, we are still fractal bullish. We are still swing bullish as well. If we look here at the daily, we can still see that we have the impulse up, the retracement, the impulse up, the retracement, the impulse up, the retracement, impulse up, retracement, and now we're just making the next impulse up. So we're very obviously in an uptrend. So I do not like calling tops or bottoms. So therefore, I'm just going to be waiting for a reversal to happen. And the reversal will happen once we start breaking this black line low over here, which is currently the daily fractal low. Once that low goes, there is going to be more opportunity for us to look for sells once again on the dollar. But until then, longs are the only way. Going into the weekly time frame as well, we can see that we're nearing the weekly area of supply as well, but that the overall momentum is still only up and up and up. Therefore, we're just waiting for it to start reversing and showing any signs of bearish momentum, which for example would be if we break the weekly fractal low over here. So that's what I'm looking for, preferably one more spike up into this weekly supply zone before looking for any retracements. Going into Aussie dollar next, Aussie dollar has pushed down lower, pretty much as anticipated. If we go in towards the 4-hour time frame, first of all, we can see that overall the supply zone that we mentioned in yesterday's video has held. This buy up before the sell down is currently holding. This is obviously our fractal high and this is obviously our fractal low. We made a retracement pretty much exactly into the 50% mark, and you can see that the market is now stalling there and waiting to push down lower. At least it seems like it wants to push down lower. Overall, what are we waiting for on Aussie dollar? Well, we're waiting for more downside. I do definitely want to see that weekly low get taken out, right? This is the black line low over here, because for now we're just building liquidity right above that line. So waiting for that low to get taken out, and then after that potentially we could start looking for a pullback if the dollar, for example, hits that weekly supply zone, and if Aussie dollar as well shifts fractal structure here on the daily time frame, because this is currently your daily fractal high, and only until or only when that black line breaks, then maybe we could start looking for longs once again to take out all of these descending highs, because at some point in time I do think that there is going to be a very well needed pullback here on Aussie dollar. But obviously, again, not calling the bottom, not trying to call the bottom, but this is a nice area to see a potential reversal from this weekly low. But let's wait for that to happen first, and then we'll just act when the market shows its hand. Until then, obviously just follow the overall momentum and follow the fractal structure, and everything is telling me that we are heading down lower. at least based on current price action, right? Because once we see, let's say this 4-hour fractal high go, then obviously I'm not going to be interested in shorts anymore. Break of the 4-hour fractal high, excuse me, I meant fractal high. So a break of the fractal high could mean kind of like the new trend back up in towards the highs. But again, preferably I would like to see that weekly low go. Going into GBPUSD, GBPUSD itself is also looking good for further downside still. Looking here on the daily time frame, we can see that the overall momentum is still in towards the downside. Let me just clean it up for you guys real quick, so I'll just explain it. Overall, if we just zoom out, we can see momentum is down. Okay, that is just super simple. Then what I do is I look at the immediate fractal structure to understand what my bias is. This is currently our low, this is currently our high. This high broke this previous low over here, which was the fractal low. And then before that, this was the fractal high over here. So ultimately what you are seeing is a push down, a retracement, a push down, and now we're just waiting for another retracement before the next push down. However, what you need to understand is that the market will not always retrace into your levels. Okay, this may be your daily area of supply, but then if you go in towards the 4-hour time frame, you can see that the 4-hour fractal structure is based on this high over here and this low, which is the same as the daily fractal low. Now, if we are really extremely bearish, sometimes what the market will do is it will just react to this daily supply zone over here and just continue with daily impulses in towards the downside, which are kind of like 4-hour fractal trends, if you understand what I mean. And it will just continue until the 4-hour fractal high breaks, and then we will start seeing a pullback up higher, okay? So until the 4-hour fractal high breaks, we are only interested in potential further downside, right, guys? So that's what I'm now interested in. If the black line were to break, then obviously we could start seeing a higher pullback, but until then, everything is still showing me that it wants to head down lower. Yes, we have daily demand zones. For example, we had this daily demand zone over here, right? So this area over here, but as you can see, it just provided us with an initial reaction and nothing else. And that is what happens, guys, in a downtrend. Demand zones are just reaction points, and they're not necessarily reversal points. They're only potentially a reversal point if we were to break again the change of character high, which was this change of character high over here. But as you can see, we tapped into demand, we never broke the change of character high, and that's why the trend just continued down lower. So that's what I'm looking for on GU. Going into NZDUSD, NZDUSD has also, very similar to AU, just pushed down lower. Looking here at the weekly, there are still open lows here to be taken out. So obviously I'm not looking for buys just yet. There's also no fresh daily area of demand or weekly area of demand to our left. Overall as well, the daily fractal structure is bearish. If we look at the immediate bias, what we have, again, momentum is down, so only interested in shorts. So then again, this is the daily fractal high, this is the daily fractal low. This low got broken, or broke this previous low over here. So again, only interested in potential further downside from this. I then dive in towards the 4-hour time frame, understanding that both the daily swing and the daily fractal are bearish. And then again, what we see from yesterday is that indeed the overall fractal structure held. This is the high, and then this daily low is also your 4-hour low. And then you can see that we retrace pretty much into this imbalance candle over here. And then from there, we are starting to sell off again. So again, based on immediate structure, it still makes sense just to head down lower. Obviously, NFP can change everything. Do keep that in mind. But yeah, if it does, then obviously we'll just look to see price push either in towards this supply zone or this supply zone over here. And then again, we'll just wait for the 4-hour fractal structure to be the same as here, bearish, and then we'll just look for sells again if it does push up higher. Because otherwise, if it is really bearish and it just follows the overall momentum, this high should be respected and it should just push down lower in towards those weekly lows. Going in towards gold, last of all, gold has continued to push up higher as expected. Going into the daily time frame real quick, we can see that the overall momentum and the overall order flow has held. Sell before the buy, sell before the buy. And now if we go into the 4-hour time frame, again, we can see that the 4-hour fractal structure remains to be held as well. Now we have a new 4-hour fractal structure over here since this morning. We broke the high, and meaning that this is now your 4-hour fractal low, meaning that this is now your 4-hour demand zone. So as you can see, we tap now back in towards that demand zone, and then from there we head up higher again. So I'm only interested in higher prices for now. Obviously we are nearing some form of a supply zone over here, so let's wait and see. If this supply zone over here were to cause a change of character, so break this black line's low, then it could mean that there is some downside momentum again. But if gold is really that bullish, it should just respect the 4-hour fractal low and continue trading up higher. So that's what I'm looking at on gold. Overall higher time frame obviously is still bullish, and once we break this high again over here, that is when I really will be bullish once again, because for now this is kind of like the last area of supply, the last area of resistance, these 2 wicks that could cause gold to start dropping again. So once we break that, then I would expect, if we break this area of supply, I would expect this high to go as well, and then I'll definitely be getting into longs again, into the all-time high as well. So that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and speak soon.